The mansion was silent, draped in the velvet darkness of midnight. Outside, a rare winter wind cut through the air, carrying a promise of cold and unease. Inside, the grand chandelier flickered, casting shadows that danced across the marble floors. Jonathan St. Clair, billionaire and enigma, lay in his opulent bedroom, pretending to sleep. His chest rose and fell in slow, calculated rhythm. Tonight, he was not a man of wealth. He was a silent observer, waiting for a revelation he couldn't buy. Downstairs, the janitor's son, Alex, moved quietly. He was 17, wiry, with a sharp intelligence that no school had managed to measure. He had been working for Jonathan's family for months, sweeping floors, emptying trash, and carrying out countless errands. Yet tonight, Alex had a restless air about him. There was something in the house, something he felt but couldn't see, that made the hairs on the back of his neck prickle. He carried the old brass bucket up the wide staircase, careful not to disturb the silence. As he reached the landing, he noticed the faint glow under Jonathan's bedroom door. Something told him that tonight would be unlike any other. Jonathan's test had been set in motion days ago. He had observed Alex from afar, noting small traits, how he responded to stress, how he treated those with less power than him, and how cunning he could be when cornered. Wealth had taught Jonathan that character was rare, and tonight, he wanted to see exactly how rare Alex's character was. Pretending to sleep was the perfect guise. He would watch the young man's reaction without interference, but Jonathan didn't anticipate the audacity that Alex would display. Alex stopped just outside the door, glancing at the faint light seeping from beneath it. He listened, holding his breath. The sound of Jonathan's slow breathing was reassuring, but only in the surface sense. Beneath it lay a tension that Alex couldn't quite explain. His instincts, honed through a childhood of hardship and necessity, screamed that there was more than met the eye. The mansion wasn't just a home. It was a maze, and Jonathan, unknowingly or not, was the silent guardian of its secrets. A creak echoed from the staircase, sharp in the stillness. Alex froze, heart pounding. He had been trained by life to notice every detail, every irregularity. Slowly he turned, seeing only shadows. But his gaze returned to the door. There was a note left there earlier in the day, an oddity that even Alex couldn't ignore. It read simply, "The truth waits in silence." He didn't know who had written it, but a chill ran down his spine. Most would have run, but Alex's curiosity was a blade honed and ready. He stepped forward, hand trembling slightly as he grasped the doorknob. Jonathan held his breath beneath the sheets. The young man's resolve was stronger than he had anticipated. As the door opened, Alex entered the room with deliberate caution. He looked around, eyes scanning every detail. The arrangement of the furniture, the slight tremor in a painting on the wall, the faint scent of expensive cologne. Nothing seemed out of place, yet Alex felt the room itself was a puzzle. He moved closer to the bed, compelled by something beyond comprehension. And then he did something no one expected. He leaned down and gently shook Jonathan's shoulder. "Sir, you need to wake up," Alex whispered, voice barely audible. Jonathan's pulse quickened. He had not expected the audacity, the calm determination in those young eyes. He wanted to speak, to reveal himself, but he stayed silent, letting the test continue. Alex took a deep breath and stepped back, but his gaze never wavered. He was searching for something. Jonathan realized that Alex was not merely curious. He was courageous, perhaps recklessly so, and clever enough to see through pretense. Then Alex did it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device, a recorder he had found while cleaning an office earlier. He placed it on the nightstand, pressed a button and spoke clearly, recounting every observation he had made about the mansion, the staff and even the mysterious note. It was bold, precise, and oddly intimate. Jonathan's eyes snapped open, staring directly at the boy. Alex froze for a moment, realizing that the man was watching him, not asleep as he had assumed. And then something unexpected happened. Alex smiled. "I knew you weren't sleeping," he said calmly, as if expecting Jonathan to be there all along. "I wanted to see if I could prove myself without fear." Jonathan's heart stilled. In all his years, no one had dared confront him so directly, yet with respect and caution intertwined. Alex had not panicked, had not fled, and had not shown greed or malice. He had acted with bravery and intelligence, the qualities Jonathan had longed to see. The billionaire studied him closely, noting every flicker of confidence, every subtle calculation in his eyes. It was rare to encounter someone so fearless yet so controlled. someone who could navigate a trap without falling prey to it. "Why did you do it?" Jonathan asked finally, voice a mix of curiosity and admiration. "Because I wanted to know the truth," Alex replied simply. "And I knew the truth would find me here." Jonathan leaned back, feeling a strange mix of relief and disbelief. The test was over, yet the implications were staggering. He realized that this young man, the son of his janitor, was not only clever and courageous but possessed an innate wisdom that money could not teach. In that instant, Jonathan understood that wealth was meaningless without the ability to discern human character, and Alex had passed the ultimate test. The room seemed to shrink around them, the air thick with unspoken understanding. Jonathan reached out and placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, respect, and a silent promise. The boy's eyes met his, steady and unwavering, and Jonathan felt a thrill he had not experienced in years, the thrill of genuine human connection, untainted by money, power, or pretense. The night outside continued, indifferent to the drama within, but for those two, time had shifted, altered by courage and insight. The next morning, the mansion was alive with movement, but Jonathan and Alex shared a quiet understanding. Breakfast was laid out untouched as they spoke in hushed tones. Jonathan asked about Alex's life, his struggles, and his ambitions. Alex spoke honestly, without embellishment, revealing a mind sharp as any executive and a heart resilient as any warrior. Jonathan found himself drawn to this boy in a way that went beyond paternal concern or fascination. There was potential there, raw and unrefined, waiting to be shaped not by money but by guidance and trust. Days turned into weeks, and Jonathan began involving Alex in more than janitorial duties. He observed him in business meetings, in negotiations, in quiet strategy sessions. Alex absorbed everything like a sponge, his analytical mind uncovering patterns even Jonathan had overlooked. Soon, Jonathan realized that he had found more than just a brave, clever boy. He had found a partner in thought, a rare mind that could challenge him, complement him, and inspire him. But wealth had its shadows, and Jonathan knew the world would not accept Alex lightly. Rivals, envious employees, and even family members would attempt to exploit or dismiss him. Jonathan decided to protect Alex, but also to test him further. The mansion, with its hidden corridors, secret rooms, and watchful servants, became a stage for subtle lessons in trust, deception, and strategy. Alex navigated each challenge with the same courage he had shown that first night, each success earning Jonathan's growing admiration. Yet one evening, a whisper of danger drifted through the corridors. A stranger, cloaked and careful, had been seen lurking near the estate. Jonathan sensed it immediately, a sixth sense honed by decades of power and caution. He called Alex into his study, laying out a scenario that was more than hypothetical. A breach of security, an unseen threat, a test of wits and courage. Alex listened intently, eyes narrowing. Then, with a calm resolve, he proposed a plan that none of the staff had considered. It was audacious, precise, and dangerous, but it leveraged his understanding of the mansion, its layout, and Jonathan's habits. They executed the plan together, moving silently through hidden passages, coordinating with unseen allies. When the intruder was finally cornered, it became clear that Alex's intuition had been flawless. Jonathan, watching the boy in action, felt a shock of respect so profound it froze him in place. He realized that Alex was no longer just a janitor's son. He was a force to be reckoned with, a mind that could match any in the world, and a soul that could not be corrupted by wealth or fear. That night, Jonathan understood something fundamental. True power was not in money, influence, or titles, but in courage, intelligence, and integrity. Alex had demonstrated all three, in moments of quiet observation and explosive action. The billionaire, often untouchable and invulnerable, felt a rare and humbling fear, the fear of recognizing genius in someone far younger, someone society might have overlooked. But along with that fear came exhilaration, a thrill of discovery and kinship that he had not anticipated. For the first time, Jonathan St. Clair knew he had met someone who could change not only his life but the world around them. Weeks later, in the quiet aftermath of the ordeal, Jonathan offered Alex a choice: to continue as he was, loyal and brave, or to step into a world of power and influence, guided by Jonathan himself. Alex paused, considering the weight of the offer. Then he smiled, the same fearless smile from that first night, and nodded. The decision was made. From janitor's son to protege of a billionaire, Alex's journey had begun, a journey marked not by wealth, but by courage, intellect, and the shocking revelation that sometimes the one you least expect holds the power to freeze even the most untouchable man in awe.